First, you can continue.
Okay. So as we discussed yesterday on this context of adding computers, installing agents, and the color showing up here, right? Adding computers, you add the computers from your Active Directory, like how it is showing up from here. You have the respective domain showing up. From the domain, you'll be having your OUs showing up like this. We can target the respective OU that you want to synchronize, integrate on the console towards discovery and agent installation. If it is user OU like this, it will show you some users, if any users are there. Right? So computers will be showing like this. You can select the computers one by one or all at one go. You'll have an option there. Once you select the computers, you go next, and there you'll be getting the next option to add to SCOM, that is scope of management, or install agents and add to SCOM. The difference is when you go with add to SCOM, the systems will be just discovered and showing up on the list. Yeah, I need to cancel it. It will be showing up on this list. From here, you do a selection like this and then manually go ahead and push the agent by clicking on install agent. If you go with the second option, add to SCOM and install agents, addition to this list will happen and also pushing the agents also will happen. So you can trigger both the operations simultaneously. So that you'll be able to see from add computers, right? And once the agent installation is successful, it will show us and communication back to the console here. It will show in green color. If the agent is installed and not communicating to the console or its service is down or some network problem, it will show as red color like this. If agent installation is not done on the system and if the agent installation is in progress or failed, it will show as gray color like this. So three colors, three notations, right? That is what we have seen. Now, once the agent icon is showing in green color, which is successfully communicating to the console, right? Now, when it is successfully communicating to the console, what all the data it is giving to the console is what we would like to understand, right? So that information we can see here under the inventory menu on the top. As you see here, it is taking us to the dashboard. Audited computers successfully audited, failed audit, not scanned, and a bifurcation with respect to the OS and few other details. This itself is giving us some fair understanding of what my network is, right? Now to understand details of these widgets, I go into computers. All computers are scanned computers only. All computers is all the computers which are getting scanned, which are not getting scanned also will be shown here. The systems which are scanned in the last iteration only will be showing up here. But either way, the data reflection will be common. Okay. You see here the computer name followed by the logged on user, the domain to which it is connected to, and other details. Now, if I would like to see the data of this particular computer called Karthik 499422, I click on that. I will be landing onto the snapshot page of that asset where I see the computer naming differentiation, that is FQDN, the last successful scan timestamp, the last logged in user that is detected in this timestamp, and last reboot of that system that was detected in this successful scan timestamp. And below we have the summary information, same FQDN, the domain to which it is joined to, the IP address that is detected. It is having two NIC cards, two IPs are showing up. Primary owner, sysadmin 1. So what exactly this primary owner is will come shortly. OS status is licensed or non-licensed. Language from the OS is English or other language. Total hardware is 33, software is 400, commercial license is 38, non-commercial is 4, prohibited software, missing updates, disk usage point of view with respect to the GB, 500 GB of hard drive, what is in use and what is free, OS details, OS version, OS name, the license type, the license key, the drive where the OS is installed, manufacturer of the system, device type, memory, 16 GB, model, processor, the serial number or the tag that we have for identification, right? So all this hardware summary, OS summary, this asset summary, and the summary menu that we see, all will be coming by default when that asset agent communication is happening established to the central console, right? So on this menu, if you drill down, you see something called as asset or custom computer details and custom fields. Computer details, that is custom as per my choice, as per my organization, as per my company, I will mention here. Computer location, for example, which will not be seen in the registry, which will not be seen in the device manager, which will not be seen on the computer. So this information, as it is not available on the computer, we have an option to update it manually. Shipping date. It is not available on the computer. So if you would like to track it, you can update it manually. Similarly, the product number, the tag that you can use for searching. This tag and this tag that you see on the top, it can be seen, it can be different. There is no compulsion, right? Owner, it is not there on the computer, so we can differentiate. Email address is not there on the computer, we can differentiate. Expiry date, the notes. By clicking on this modify button that we see here on the right hand side, we can fill in all the details that we would like to fill it manually one by one. Now here we see some 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 fields, right? Besides these 8 fields, I would also like to put some custom field like floor number, which is some numeric or alphanumeric, and I can add. Similarly, I can put something like desk number, which is alphanumeric, I can add. So besides the default attributes that is coming up here on the by default from the system, if you want to track and add a few more custom fields than these 8 attributes, we can add here as per our choice. There is no restriction. So this set and this set, if you would like to fill it, we can fill it manually. And the upper set, that is hardware summary, OS, and other details, is capturing automatically, right? Now here, I am going to nominate one owner, right? So this owner can act as a primary owner of the computer. So here it is automatically showing a sysadmin1, which could be the primary owner that was associated earlier. So the same owner can also go as an owner of the system, like actual owner of the system, that is Lakshman, who is using his laptop. And in Lakshman's absence, there is Shakti who is using the systems. He can be a user of the system, but not owner of the system. That is a difference. And this owner and user concept for laptops, it might not be applicable. For desktops and server operating system and virtual platform, it will be applicable. So probably user might not be aware, customer might not be aware how to use it, where to use it, how was the difference and all. So as we are the technical person from the product point of view, we can give some literature to the customer. If they feel that is interesting, good to have, they can utilize it. And that will be coming up as a part of audit. Right? So that is what you see on page 1. Now coming to page 2, that is system. Now in the system, What all the backend information that is there besides the OS on the system is what we see here, like services. What are all the services that are installed and running on the computer? Those services details will be here. Service name, its startup type, its description, and what logon it have and what status you have. For our quick representation, quick view. Right? And then users. On your computer, when you see, you have your user profiles, right? Users, okay, this. So default, Lakshman, and public. So in my computer, I have 3 profiles. In your computer, you might have 3 to 4 profiles. Whereas on the servers, you'll have many profiles. On your virtual platform, you have many profiles, right? So that profile list is what we will be seeing here. Service task fields are different from people, right? Create a common field for service task and then comes to groups. So these profiles that we are talking, these profiles are from which groups is what you will be seeing here under this groups menu. What are all the permissions? What are all the group permissions this user list is having? Associations is having is this groups will be showing up here. This will be morely applicable when you talk about your AD environment, right? And what drivers you have that are applicable installed on your system is what you'll be seeing here from your respective device manager. And what kind of shares are exposed given from your computer is what you'll be seeing. Which all will be coming up automatically, no manual intervention on the page 2 system. Coming to the third page, that is hardware. Here you will be seeing all the information coming from your device manager. The battery information, the manufacturer, the status, the BIOS information, the make, the model, the installation date, the status, the hard drive information, like this, the usage and all, keyboard information, the make, the manufacturer, the external monitor information, the make, the manufacturer, the dimensions and all, motherboard, NIC cards, the number of NIC cards that you have, all the details will be here. Physical memory with the modules. Pointing devices like your USB keyboard, USB mouse, those instances. Printer that is installed, connected. Processor, the port level information, the sound card, PPM, video cards, USB details, USB hub. So which are very much general, all is coming from your respective device manager and from your BIOS, right? This is also everything coming up automatically from the same one single agent that is residing on the user PC. Now this is important software. So in my PC, I have these many softwares installed and detected, around 370 plus. I see the software name, the software version, the compatibility 32-bit or 64-bit, the manufacturer of the software, and when the software was installed with the installation location. And you would also see who installed this. I guess you should also be getting an option here who installed it. Usage, installed user account. So with what profile this software was installed on the computer also you'll be seeing. The license type, managed, non-managed, commercial, non-commercial, all the information that we have, right? So this is a default information which is coming up automatically in the subsequent scan of the user PC, right? Now, what more you can learn from this is what we'll see shortly. And you see a few other menus here called Microsoft App Store and metered software. So Microsoft App Store is something that is coming from default Microsoft published applications, default Microsoft published softwares that you have. That categorization is happening automatically here, showing up as a store, which are defaultly available as per every installation that we talk about. From here, you can do installations and installations. How it will be helpful, where and all you will be using it, we'll see shortly. Metered software information basis on this discovered software, you write some rules. Basis on that rules, the metering information will be seen here. What rules to be written, how that will be applicable, we'll see in a while. Next thing is your certificates. As an application, as a laptop or as a desktop, as a server, as a virtual platform, for security point of view, if you have some certificates installed on your PC with respect to any of the CAs that you see here on the left-hand side, trusted certificate, enterprise certificate, untrusted, PC, remote, and all, those certificate respect to information will be seen here that is applicable to you with respect to start date and end date and the key information that you have. Right? This is also automatic. File details. In my system, I have one C drive, and in that one C drive, what are all the files I have, what are all the folders I have, what are all the extension of files I have, what is the size of each of the file and all. For me, it is aware. From an organization point of view, there is a possibility of some vulnerabilities happening in some extensions only, which are very rarely heard. Text format is TXT. TX is something abnormal, which we didn't see, right? So that could be a probability of vulnerability. With human error, we might miss out it's a normal file, but those human errors is what will lead to vulnerabilities on the backend. So that prevention of vulnerabilities is what will help us when we have a file scan summary like this with the respect to extensions. So if any abnormal extension is seen or is observed by the administrator, he can target then and there immediately. That is the intention of this file scan. This file scan by default from the installation of the agent or by default from the desktop central application that we are seeing today is not enabled by default. If you want to have that enabled in your system, you have an option of file scan rules here. From here, you need to enable. We'll run through these options in a while. And here comes your security status of your computer. That is also going to come automatically because latest operating system, you have BitLocker management, right? From Windows 10 and above. So those status you can see here centrally of all computers of your organization and manage that as well. The antivirus that is running on your PC, what is its status? Is it up to date or not up to date? That as well you can have a view. The firewall status, the Windows default firewall and the Defender that you have on your PC, what is the status? The patch information is also going to contribute to the security of your OS and the applications which are running on top of the OS. So that is also showing up a menu here called missing updates that we can have a view and we can target and take the installation of patches from here. Right? That is what you see in security tab. Again, all this information is by default. Next comes your USB audit. If we have enabled the USB auditing information on the desktop central application, that will be applicable on the agent that is residing in your PC. Whenever you're doing any kind of input output operations via the USB port, that information will be seen here. With what profile you have done, what is the detected device instance ID. Each and every device that you plug in, plug out from your system, be it a USB drive, be it a pen drive, be it your charge cable, be it a Bluetooth connector, a printer that is connected, any kind of uh, input output device in simpler terms, right? Each one will have its own device identifier as instance ID. So that instance ID will be registered in the device manager of the computer. From the device manager, it is picked up in the subsequent scan and it is shown here. And we need to play a role on these device IDs, device instance IDs later. The manufacturer, the time stamp it is connected, the time stamp it is disconnected, and the device name. These are some general details that we have, right? This will be showing up whenever the auditing information is enabled on the backend. And here you see something called as block and unblock USB. What you will be doing in this block and unblock on this USB, we will see when we are talking about this configurations. And the last thing is history, which is very important, right? Audit history and user logon history. Audit history is today is 28th of September, a scan of the agent is done and it has thrown some information on the console. Tomorrow is 29th of September, a scan will be happening tomorrow as well. It will be capturing some information of that system. It has captured some 10 attributes today. It will be capturing some 10 plus 2 attributes tomorrow. So the difference is those two, right? So the two information of difference will be showing up under audit history as change history here with the timestamp of the detections happening on the console. So all the delta changes that we see in the subsequent scan is what we'll be seeing here on that audit history. User logon history. What time it's logged in, what time it's logged off, what is the user that was logged into the PC. So here I have logged in today at so and so time with my profile called Lakshman. What time I've logged in? 11 o'clock. What time I'm logging out? 6 o'clock. So login time will be 11 a.m. IST. Log off time is 6 p.m. IST and the username is Lakshman. Okay, a record will be showing up here as the agent is already running on the backend, with which we can also do a staffing calculation of quality time spending at work and all with respect to this duration, right? So that is the quick menu of all the tabs that we see on this device snapshot page, right? Besides this, you also see something called as action drop down here. It is showing as red. We are not seeing much options here. If it is in green color, you'll be seeing some 8 to 10 options if I'm right. If the system is up and running, what all we can do? We can take a remote control. So the remote control option will be showing up there. If the system is up and running, you can do some service level operation, port level operation, process level operation that will be showing up there. If you want to push a patch, that option will be there. So what are the operations that individually on demand that I as an agent can perform on a user PC, I can do from this action dropdown itself. Here it is showing in red color. It is not having any communication. So I'm getting only three menus here. Wake up now. Nothing but forcibly we can trigger a command on the backend from the BIOS level to turn on the system if it is off. Patch details. What are all the patch details that are detected as of today that were seen in the last successful scan will be showing up here. What are all the patches which are installed? What are all the patches which are waiting for approval? What are all the patches which are missing, failed, and all on that PC is what will be showing up here. So this is the status of what you have. Computer name is Karthik. OS is this. Healthy status is highly vulnerable, which is a warning here. Scan status is complete, IP address and all. Now, if you see highly vulnerable, critical update is one missing. What is that critical update? I can click on this install missing update and that update will be going to install. Scanning is completed 167 days ago. If I want to do a current scan of the PC and check out what is the current status, I can initiate a scan now. Wake up plan. BitLocker is enabled, which is good. 2 local admins are detected. Antivirus is disabled 700 days ago, which is again a warning. Firewall is enabled. 2 shared folders, which is again a warning. Right? So this way, we'll be able to see a detailed security information by clicking on that patch level information, and we can take a call from there. Vulnerabilities. These are all the software vulnerabilities that we can take a call by clicking on install patches that we wanted to do it, that are contributing to the vulnerability of the overall system. Similarly, server level vulnerabilities. Web, if anything is there, that will be showing up here. Database point of view, anything is there that is showing up here, we can add them as exceptions. Content management, if anything is showing up, that will have some remediations. We can apply those remediations. Similarly, 0-day vulnerabilities. If anything is detected from a 0-day, we see the latest security news on the online, right? 0-day vulnerability detected from Manage Engine. 0-day vulnerability detected address from CrowdStrike, something like that, right? So those level vulnerabilities which are harmful to the system, harmful to the organization, will be showing up here. High risk software, end of life information. We can take a call on this. Peer-to-peer connectivities, nothing is there. Remote sharing, one is there. Because remote sharing is one that will have the more probability of vulnerability spreading. If we can take a call, we can directly take a call from here. Exceptions, if anything is added under software management point of view or server point of view or some risk software's point of view, that information will be here. Patch level information, what are all the missing updates? This is a critical thing. So we can directly take a call at bulk at one go. Installed updates, what are the patches which are already installed? If you feel or think that one of the installed patch is behaving abnormally, you can also have an option of uninstalling those updates. From the patch level point of view, if there is some patch which you have declined, feeling that it is not applicable to your organization or not applicable to that system, which is not critical, which is not important, that's an optional patch. You can ignore those or decline those. That information will be shown here. Similarly, security configuration from the vulnerability protection point of view, these are all the detections which are there. You just click on fix, that will go ahead and apply the respective fix, which is recommending on the backend. Similarly, for web server, if this is a web server, if any exceptions are there, those exceptions will be there. And as an OS, it has many ports on the backend, right? Which are open for communication within the OS or outside the OS, within the system or outside the system. All that port level information will be seen here, where it is used, to what it is used and all. If we feel or think that some vulnerability has been detected with some port number 139, we can take a call on this. If a port detection is happening on 554, we can take a call on this process. Right? So that will be, in that way, it will be helpful for us to take a call on the ports and services which are running on the backend as well. Right? So you can see those detailed insights from a patch view, and you'll also see the detailed insights from an inventory details as well, which is again the same menu. All this information that you see on the front page, if you feel or think that you would like to export this information from an audit point of view or for record keeping point of view explicitly as a PDF or as a soft copy, you can export. Right? The file is getting downloaded and we can see all that details that we have seen so far. This is the information that we have. It's a bigger document of multiple pages, which is going to capture everything. 60 pages. Right? So any questions so far? Okay. So this was an individual PC, right? Individual snapshot page where we run through the default data and we also wanted to update the custom data manually here because this is one PC. But from an organization point of view, when I have a large number of PCs, doing these updates manually will be tedious, right? So what we can do is you have an option called bulk update, and you also have an option called import from CSV. So all these data that we are seeing here, we can export in a format by clicking on this export menu that we see on the right-hand side arrow mark here by selecting all the fields that we are wanting to have it. The file will be downloaded and that same file, we can fill those attributes that we are wanting to fill it, the custom computer details and the custom fields that are there below that, and we can import from this menu as well. Right? That is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is if you're wanting to do a bulk update of couple of resources like this, you can make use of the CSV option. Also, you can try this bulk update option that you're wanting to update in bulk for all the custom attributes. Right? And here you see this filters as a drop down. It's nothing but in your login, what all the data that you want to see that you're working mostly is what you create a filter and save it. You can make use of computer name or remote office or OS wise or service pack wise or manufacturer wise. Okay, this being a demo site, we are not able to apply, but you understand the concept, right? So you'll be able to create a filter, save the filter here and apply the filter so that in the underlying data that we see, right, you'll be seeing only those Dell computers. You'll be seeing only those Lenovo computers. You'll be seeing only those Windows 10 computers basis on the condition rule that you have applied here. It's nothing but a kind of filters for us to reduce the data that we are seeing under our login. And here you see the search menu that you can make use of search with the computer name, the user that is logged in, the domain, the location, and all. This is adding a custom field, right? That we saw on the snapshot page. You can do from here as well as an option too. And this is a column list. All these column names that you see on the top, name, user, domain, description, location, last successful scan and all, right? If you want to see more data, more fields on the inventory view of the screen in bulk, you can just go ahead and select them like this and then save it. And that you will be seeing it here on the respective menus. And you have this export option, as I said. This is in bulk where you see all the computers at one go from an inventory point of view. which is a combination of all. Now, besides that, I do not want all the data. I wanted to see only the hardware information of my computers. From here, hardware menu, we can see the hardware specific data that we have. Again, domain specific, hardware specific, battery, BIOS, drive, keyboard, and all filters you have. With respect to NIC cards, only NIC card information will be there. With respect to BIOS, only BIOS information will be there, so on and so forth, for us to differentiate the data from what we are wanting to have a view. And also by manufacturer like this. Here as well, you have the field selection that we can do a selection, and also you can export if you would like to export it. The same view will also be seen with respect to software separately by clicking on the software menu on the left side, the name of the software, the version of the software, and how many installations of this software are detected in my console as of today. 11 installations of Chrome version 71.x, right? Adobe 12.2 plus X, 7 installations. So this way we can have a view of number of installations and the number of versions and accordingly take a call on those. If it is running on an older version, we can take a call to update it, right? So all those calls can be taken by looking into this data like this. Commercial license, non-commercial, access type, allowed software, prohibited software, that is blacklisted, whitelisted. Where you define this blacklisted, whitelisted, we'll see those. Category of software. This 11 count is there, right? What are in this 11 computers? You can click on this 11 here. That is going to show you that 11 computers where this Chrome version is running. Right? And the other information like this, which is all self-explanatory, right? And here comes your alerts. These alerts will show you basis on some alert configuration that is enabled on the backend, right? So that alert configuration on the same menu, on the left-hand side menu here, at the bottom, you have configure alerts. So any kind of hardware change is detected, any kind of software change is detected, or any kind of new additions are happening, any kind of deletions are happening, basis on the checkboxes that you do here, right? You can enable these checkboxes, all the menus that you have, right? Which is again self-explanatory. Certificate expiry, disk space, license space, software compliance usage, software uninstalled, all that. So we can enable this, and it is giving you an option to notify to service desk. Here, as it is integrated to service desk, in standalone desktop central or endpoint central that we talk, you'll be getting an option, an empty box to specify an email address or multiple email addresses, comma separated, where you can specify the email address to whom this delta change information will be notified. And the same information is being seen here under this alerts menu as well. New hardware, right? New software. So that way we'll be having all the changes, deductions happening in the previous scan to the current scan. That we can have a view and find out who did the change, why the change got, is it legitimate, non-legitimate and all, and we can take a call. And any kind of enable disabling of those email alerts that you can enable from here, disable from here, the same menu. Request for new alerts is something you put a note to the managing team in this case, where they'll be putting that as a requirement. And what are the rule that is not applicable in this configure alerts will be going as an enhancement that will be incorporated basis on the feasibility and demand from the market. Edit duration is something default we maintain for 30 days. If you're wanting to extend this for a more duration, we can extend this. This extension will imply some performance on the database. So before you do it, you consult and then apply the changes. If not, leave it to the default number what you have. Right? And at the end, when I see all this hardware information, alerts information, software information, and computer information as one, right? I'm interested to also see that in beautiful representation, which will be in the form of reports as inventory reports that is by default be available. We have all these inventory reports with respect to the categories, hardware, software, security, warranty, license, and all right. So by OS, if you want to see what is the data representation, it is showing up as a graphical representation like this. Because management will be keen to know not the insights. How you are representing the insights is what they'll be trying to understand, will be interested to understand. So that we can see by this graph. By age, 2014, 2016, 2017, 2022, the year of installation. So that way we have many options that we see. So what all we would like to understand, visualize the data basis on the requirement coming from the team, from the management or from the audit point of view, that we can have a view from these reports, right? That is what you have from this initial view of inventory module. Any questions? No questions? Okay.
I guess no, but
Yeah, so if no questions is there, we have 5 minutes left. We'll quickly cover this menu, what we have. So when the agent is installed on the computer and the agent communication to the endpoint central is happening, it is pushing all the data automatically. For example, today I have installed the agent on my computer. As soon as the agent installation is successful and the agent that is installed on my computer, the first thing that it will do is it is going to do a recursive scan of my system, a complete scan, and capture all the data and keep the data in itself, in the agent itself, right? Once the agent is establishing the connection to the endpoint central console, cloud console, or on-premise console, it is going to push the data to the console, right? That is first operation which is going to happen whenever the first time the agent installation is successful and the communication is successful. That is one time. I'm doing some changes tomorrow. I will be doing some changes next week. How the system will know? You will not know until unless you wanted to know, right? How you will want to know that? You will be wanting to know that only when you scan the computers, right? So that scan you'll be able to do from the scan computers or scan systems. This is an on-demand scan. I am going to do a scan now. I select the computer, I click on scan. I select all computers, I click on scan or directly go ahead and scan all computers. I do not want to do a manual scan by sitting on the console every day, every week, right? Instead, I wanted to have the system itself to do a scan on the back end. That is an ask. You can do that by scan settings. Sorry, schedule scan. You see this inventory scan, right? So this inventory scan is where you enable it at an interval, frequency, daily or weekly or monthly, at what frequency you want to have it and what timestamp you want to have it. You want to do it every day, weekdays or alternate days. The choice is yours. And an email notification will be sent after successful initiating of the scan and after successful completion of the scan, with a mobile app notification as well on the respective desktop center app. You can schedule that as well, right? So there is one other scan that we wanted to discuss is the file scan. I was telling you, right? The file types, extensions, what all we see along with the OS on the computer. You can also initiate a scan of this, but this scan will consume more CPU, more memory on the computers along with the agent. So you apply the scan that is not conflicting with the inventory scan and not frequent as that inventory scan. Probably if you are doing a daily scan of inventory, file scan, you take it on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. That should be sufficient. That's a recommendation is what I say. But again, you can discuss that with the customer when you are going to initiate the schedule information of the scan. Accordingly, you can apply. So that is your scan part, on demand and schedule. And here you see, right, last successful scan, the timestamp is seen here. Last scan, the timestamp is seen here. Last successful is 2018. Last scan is September 25, 2022, where it was triggered manually from the console, but that was not successful, right? File scan rules. What all the file extensions that you want to categorize of file detections that you see on a general usage, like PDF, TXT, document, PPT, all those extensions, what all you see, you differentiate those which are defaultly coming up, which are generally seen and heard from the market. Most of these rules is what will be applying for us as well. If you feel or think that there is some additional extension or a new extension that is coming in the market and newly today, which is not captured here, we can write a custom rule with that extension name and that we can record it separately. Okay. When you are scanning the computer, what all you would like to scan along with the inventory is what this option is, that is scan settings. Drivers, services, shares, certificates as well. Certificates, if you feel or think that is not applicable to endpoint OS here, you can ignore that. If you do not want to scan your drivers, you can ignore that. So that way, based on your ignoring of options that you do, the amount of scan taken, the CPU memory usage of scan taken will be reduced. So it's up to you. You take a call. If you want to have all, you need to relax at some point of time. If you are wanting to ignore a few, it is better for you. Software metering rules, software metering summary, and manage license. So manage license is something where you will be able to add all the software license information that you have purchased into your organization. As an organization, we have purchased Windows 10 license. As an organization, we have purchased MS SQL 2016 license, 2 CAL license, something like that. So all that license information that we have purchased, we can add here by running through this form like this, like how we do in the press service console or service desk console, or bulkily in the form of a CSV file. Basis on this information that we are adding, right, it is going to help us in differentiating what is the purchase count and what is the allocated count and what is the count that is available for tomorrow's purchase or tomorrow's usage, with which we'll be able to derive the compliance metering or compliance usage of that license, right? Total purchased is 3, installations is 1, network installation is 1, remaining is 2. So basis on this 2, 1, and 3 number that is being showing up here, the compliance status is showing up as over licensed or under licensed, compliant or non-compliant. Over licensed is actually the differentiation here is wrong. Over licensed is you purchase 3 and the detections showing up here are more than 3, which is overutilized. If it is underutilized, the purchase count is 3, detection count is only 1, the leftover count is 2, which means you are under licensed. That is the differentiation. With that over license and under license, your compliance metering information will be showing up. That is compliant or non-compliant with the details like this. This you can do it individually as a standalone software as well as a group software. Group software, what are the group softwares we have? MS Office. MS Office will have all, right? Word, PPT, Adobe, not Adobe, all that 4 options what you have in Office. That will be a group software. You have group software for your O365 license as well. That can be taken as a group software. Adobe has many flavors inside it. That can be taken as a group software, right? So those group software management as well, you can track it separately like this. That you categorize as one, right? Now coming back to software metering. Software metering, why we will be doing it or where we will be doing it is what a question. That is what I went to manage license. Managed license are the licenses which are known to the organization, which are applicable to the organization that we are adding. Software metering also mostly organization will be doing which are legitimate in the organization, which are purchased by the organization. Mostly 90%. The other 10% is just to understand the non-commercial license or non-purchase license information to see its usage. Accordingly, they'll be able to take a call for purchasing those licenses. That is a 10% of the usage. So you write a rule here on that metering information that you want to record on a software by providing the rule name, software name, and the file extension name that you are talking about. And whenever this particular file extension name is being seen, heard in the subsequent scan on the computers, it will have some registries recorded on the backend. With that registry information, we will be able to derive this metering report. That file name, that role name, discovered how many times? 5 times. How long it was there? For 5 hours. For how many user usage? 5 usage. Last used, last updated, created, and product name. So this is a kind of a general usage of that report, which will give us how frequently that software is being used or how rarely that software is being used. If that is frequently used software which is not purchased in the organization, the management can take a call to purchase the software as it is used by the organization explicitly. If it is a purchase software and not frequently used, in the subsequent renewals or upgrades, that license count or that license renewal can be reduced or taken out from the commercials. So that is where the software metering information will be used to measure the usage of that license, to measure the usage of the software on the backend. Right? Then we have manage software category. It's nothing but you create a category here. In that category, what all the softwares that you feel which are applicable to fit in that category, you move them to the right side. And this category will be helpful for you in reporting point of view. Like multimedia, what all we see in multimedia, right? So this is all the data that you have. Adobe, some unknown application, inspector, something like that. Finance applications, 0. Driver, development applications. We can differentiate them. You see these examples, right? This itself will give us some understanding of how it is, what it is, and all. Configure alerts we saw, schedule scan we saw. So that is the action and settings menu that you have, right? So any questions before we end the call for today?
No, Lakshman.
Okay.
I think I guess.
So what all we have seen today on the inventory module from this computers, hardware, software, inventory reports, alerts, and this scan, file, software metering, manage license, configure alert, schedule scan is all very general in every endpoint management tool that you see in the market. I repeat, that is very much general in every endpoint management tool that you see in the market. Probably the nomenclature and the headings would differ, but the concept inside the menus that we have seen is going to be the same, right? And in the inventory module, we have this one option left for today, that is application control. This is not common in most of the endpoint management tools that we see in the market. So I haven't touched it. Probably in the next section, we will touch this. We will elaborate more what it is, how it will be used, where it will be applicable and all. And that you can simulate, understand, and whenever a query or customer is put the question, you can correlate and take forward from it. Right? So with that, we end the call today. Hope it was, though it was late, hope we were able to utilize the complete time. But yesterday, today, there were no questions. So if there is no questions, meaning either it is all clear or nothing is clear, but still I'm putting the same context. Any queries that you feel at this small point of time where we are going module wise, do come out with more queries that you wanted to clarify then and there. Probably once we are done with the complete flow, you might not recall those queries or it will be difficult for you to put those queries. So as we have free time, so utilize the free time and come out with questions. So we'll close the call today and we'll resume tomorrow and take it forward. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Lakshman.
வெற்றி அந்த காலில் அப்படியே ஜாயின் பண்ணுங்க.